Welcome back, trainers, and I am here in Alaska for good. No more going place to place. I could finally rest up, which I have done. I may sound a little bit different because I'm a bit stuffy, still getting over sickness from all this travel, and possibly not eating the way I usually have. Now, we're going to be going over future fighting type Pokemon in Gen 5, just a couple. As you can see, I do have this lovely shiny Machamp, which was given to me by my girlfriend, and that is going to be Scarlet Witch. If you did not know, yes, we are dating. So she gave this to me completely maxed out. So I did tweet this out, and I said it was a 12, 15, 15, which in fact it's going to be a 12, 14, 15, but it doesn't matter. It turned out to be fantastic. So that's really awesome. What we're going to do right now, we're buying that secondary move right away. Right away. This is shiny Machamp. Now we're going to go ahead and go for that Rock Slide. Yeah, we got Dynamic Punch. So I do have a full team already. As a matter of fact, this is going to be my, I think, 13th completely maxed out Machamp. All right, so if you do have those, get ready. Let's talk about the future of the fighting type Pokemon. I will be getting into all kinds of news of what's happening currently, but I just wanted to give you a little taste of what is to come in the future, seeing that the time is coming for those new Gen 5 Pokemon. Not anytime soon, but they should be arriving, you know, sometime, because, well, we have reached that point pretty much. But first, before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at some of my Pokemon here that I did catch. I didn't go crazy like grinding when I was on vacation in Arizona. I did like a raid or two. I did do this Alolan Raichu raid with the Garchomp, which I'm happy to have inspired a lot of you to completely max out your Garchomps, evolve them, or just prepare yourself to actually max one of these out, because it is so good going up against electric type Pokemon. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, that's good and all, Poke, but what if it does receive a community day in the future in which making the ones we have not as good? Like we've seen before, time and time again, with Niantic implementing these new moves and then finally making the ones that we do have currently useless and kind of, it's like that good of an investment. Well, there is a possibility for that. Garchomp learning Earth Power, which would make it outstanding. Let's just have our fingers crossed that it's going to be a move that we can simply TM into. If anything, it's going to receive some sort of community day move, in which I will like to tell you this right now. Max one Garchomp out. Have fun with it. Okay, will we see a community day in the future? Possibly, because this thing is amazing. It has the moves of a Telltale Sign community day Pokemon, in which, if that was the case, at least you would just have one. And you can have fun with it currently, because it is an awesome looking Pokemon, as well as it does pretty good with Mudshot and Earthquake. So it's not going to be too much of a loss. Just one, especially if you had a lucky one. So there is that tip there. Not only that, but we are going to be getting that Raikou Day on the 29th, I do believe. So make sure you prepare for that. Have some people ready to go, because you will, in fact, be able to get a shiny if you are lucky. Now, this isn't going to be for a week or a couple of days. It's only going to be for a few hours. So make sure you have that time cleared up and ready to go with your friends. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about a few of the Gen 5 fighting type Pokemon, specifically one of my favorite types in Pokemon, period. I'm not too sure why I like the fighting type Pokemon. Maybe it's just my spirit, but personally, fighting types are awesome to me. So let's go ahead and check those out. All right, first up we have Conkeldurr, something that I actually took to tournaments locally and won quite a few of those, not specifically because of this Pokemon, but it was certainly on my team of 6. It's going to be a pure fighting type, maxing out at 3,305, attack 243, defense 172, and stamina 210. All right, so being a pure fighting type, the weaknesses are going to be Fairy, Flying, and Psychic, resisting, Bug, Dark, and Rock. So we do not have any moves currently for this because, well, it's just way too far off into the future. But we can go over to Bulbapedia and take a look at what it could possibly learn. But if we take a look at Machamp, let's go ahead and do a little comparison with another fighting type Pokemon that I'm going to be curious about as to how well it's going to perform, as well as what moves can it learn. So let's compare these three Pokemon to see where they're all going to line up. Alright, now putting these new Gen 5 Pokemon, Conkeldurr and Mienshao, next to Machamp to do a little comparison. We see that both of the Gen 5 fighting Pokemon are going to have higher attack than Machamp itself, but that's okay. Your investments are still going to be safe with that Machamp. Say you powered up a full team of them, or even more, or possibly just 5, and that to you is still a lot. It's okay, it's still going to be good, because let's go over their stats here. For the defense on the Conkeldurr, 172. For the Mienshao, 127, and then the Machamp is going to be at 159. So Conkeldurr is going to be doing a little bit better in that regard. But when we take a look at the stamina on the Conkeldurr, that's going to be 207. Mienshao, 130 on the lower end, and then Machamp, 207. So Conkeldurr is looking like he's going to be the boss here. When we look at the attack, 243 for the Conkeldurr, 258 on the Mienshao. It's going to be highest out of all three of these, and then the Machamp is sitting at the lowest with 234. So what does this mean for Machamp? Is it going to lose its spot in the fighting type King Arena finally, or is it actually going to be able to pull through and continue to be the fighting king? Well, it really depends on the moves that they give it for Pokemon Go regarding Conkeldurr and Mienshao. Now Mienshao, I also did use this on my team of 6 in the main series games. It is a bit of a glass cannon, but man oh man, it hits like a truck, especially because of its moves that it specifically has. So if they did receive those in Pokemon Go, it would be looking fantastic. But we have no idea what moves it is going to get. Niantic could just give them complete nonsense moves and make them useless, and then we're just going to have to wait several months for some sort of community day to roll around for these and then finally get it. Or possibly an event in which they're going to learn a better move several months after release, like they did with Breloom. Although Breloom didn't actually learn a fighting move, it was a grass move, but you get the idea how they do that, and you're just simply going to either evolve them into it, or a new move is just going to be introduced and you'll simply TM them. So as far as it is concerned right now, which one of these is going to be the best? Well, Conkeldurr is taking the cake, but Mienshao does have the opportunity to pull up and be a boss, because what did we see with Gengar? What did we see with Rampardos? Those things are glass cannons, but if you do have a full team of them, they still take the #1 spot for their specific type. Ghost for Gengar and Rock for the Rampardos, right? And that is possibly an opportunity for Mienshao to pull up to be the #1 fighting type. It's not going to be able to last this long, but if you did have a full team, it's going to be absolutely nasty. Not to mention, I just love the design. Conkeldurr's design is also amazing. So Conkeldurr is going to be a stage 2, having 3 stages. Well, basic and then 1 and 2. Mienshao is going to have 1 more evolution, and then Machamp, of course, is going to have that Machop, Machoke, and then Machamp stage. So take note of that as well. Alrighty, so we're over here on Bulbapedia. Let's go ahead and take a look at Conkeldurr's level up moves here. So we also have to take note that Counter is going to be one of the best quick moves in Pokemon Go regarding fighting types, not only for PvE, but for PvP as well. So what can we see for a new fighting quick move? Possibly Wake Up Slap. That could maybe take the cake for the best new fighting quick move in Pokemon Go. We'll have to wait and see. Then if we move down here, we have Dynamic Punch as well, so it can learn that just like Machamp, so it will be able to stay on par, and with Conkeldurr's higher attack, it's going to be doing a lot better. It's just really determining on that quick move. We also see Low Kick, which has already been introduced. Now, if it was able to learn Low Kick and then also Dynamic Punch, would it put it on the level of Machamp? I don't think so. Counter is just so good. Even with Conkeldurr's higher attack, it's still going to possibly fall behind. But let's have our fingers crossed that Wake Up Slap will be a quick move for it. Then if we move down, we have Hammer Arm, which is on the level of Dynamic Punch. But that's something we don't really need to focus on. We need to focus on that Focus Punch, as a matter of fact. It's going to be doing more damage. Could we see a possible Outrage, but for fighting type Pokemon coming in, as well as Superpower, doing more damage than Dynamic Punch? Just maybe. And if that was the case, I think if it did have Low Kick, then it will be outperforming Machamp with those extremely strong charge moves there. Then if we move down here to the TM moves, we have Brick Break, which could be very useful for PvP, right? As far as raids go, it's not going to be something you specifically want. Then we have Focus Blast, which is a fairly good fighting type move, but it's a single charge, and it's not going to be great for PvP. And as far as PvE is concerned, well, you have that opportunity of feigning out before you actually get it off, and we already know that Dynamic Punch is going to be a little bit better. And then it has plenty of other moves here, but we're going to disregard those because we're focusing on fighting moves. And then we have the counter there, so Conkeldurr does have the opportunity to be just as good as Machamp regarding the moves. We already know it has better attack, so Conkeldurr is looking fantastic. Then we have Drain Punch, which has yet to be introduced. Force Palm, which can also be another fighting quick move that is introduced, so that is another good sign. Mach Punch, that's another opportunity for a fighting quick move. Power Up Punch is another opportunity for Conkeldurr to do great in PvP. As we know, it's going to gain your attack every single time you use it, as well as being a fairly quick move to get off and very low energy for PvP. So Conkeldurr is looking fantastic right now as far as the moves that it can potentially learn in Pokemon Go. Now if we look at the move tutor moves, we have Drain Punch, Focus Punch, and Low Kick, then Superpower. So Conkeldurr is looking fantastic. I have high hopes for this one here, and it's too late to not power up Machamps because, well, the deed's been done, and I needed them for quite a few different specific raids and challenges, so no regrets. It is what it is. So don't hit yourself over the head because you powered up a bunch of Machamps. We needed to use them for specific things. We did that already. We had fun, and as simple as that. Now let's go ahead and move on to Mienshao. Alrighty, now taking a look at Mienshao here, we have Aura Sphere at the top. Then if we go down, we have Force Palm, which I personally think is going to be a fighting quick move, hopefully outperforming Counter, or maybe just on par with it. Drain Punch, yet introduced. Jump Kick, yet introduced into Pokemon Go. High Jump Kick, which I think is going to be kind of like Focus Blast, in that regard, like a Hyper Beam, but for fighting type Pokemon. Aura Sphere, which Lucario will possibly be learning this as well in the future. Maybe. We'll just have to see how strong is it going to be. I'm not too sure, but Lucario is great for PvP currently with that Power Up Punch and then that Shadow Ball for a bit of coverage. So we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. But honestly, Force Palm, hoping that's going to be a quick move. Then if we go down here to look for more, it does have Brick Break as well. Low Sweep, Focus Blast, which is doing less damage in the main series game. So we have Focus Blast at 120. Then if we go up to the High Jump Kick, it's going to be a bit stronger. So we're looking possibly at the, like I said, like a Hyper Beam, but for fighting type Pokemon. And then if we keep moving down here, there's going to be no more fighting moves. Now, if we look at the breeding moves here, there is Low Kick. And then finally, we have Vital Throw, which I'm not too sure how that's actually going to perform in Pokemon Go. It does have a damage of 70 in the main series games, which is going to be a little bit less than the Dynamic Punch. So I don't think that would be a quick move. We'll just have to wait and see on that. Now, as far as the move tutor moves, we have Drain Punch, yet introduced. Focus Punch, also yet introduced, as well as Low Kick. Now, with Mienshao's high attack, Low Kick can still make it okay depending upon which charge move it can have, because we did see it can learn Dynamic Punch. And if it was to say learn the only fighting moves, this is hypothetically, Low Kick and then Dynamic Punch, it will be doing better than Machamp. All right, yes, Low Kick is not that great, but with that high attack, I think it might be outperforming Machamp in that regard. But here is where things get interesting. If we look at Focus Punch with a damage, or at least the power of 150, now that is going to be massive hitting, way outperforming the Focus Blast as well as High Jump Kick. Now, I don't think that's going to be a double charge move, but if it was, then definitely, most definitely, you're going to be looking at something on an outrage level, but for fighting type Pokemon. So Mienshao just might come through and save the day as the new fighting type Pokemon. I mean, it's not really saving the day, but we all love the Machamps. I just would really like to see a new fighting type Pokemon coming in and able to do a little bit better than Machamp as far as damage output goes. But if you did compare the two, like we went over the stats, Machamp is going to have a lot longer survivability, less resources used. But for me personally, I'm not concerned whatsoever about the resources. If I can have a Pokemon that can outperform Machamp but still cost me more resources to revive or have to power up a few more, but I would be totally fine with that. Something that's just going to be a new design, because, you know, as much as I love Machamp, like I said, it's just getting kind of old as the king of the hill for fighting type Pokemon. And with that said, trainers, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.